Hello again everyone and welcome back to Skyblock News. I'm your host Derailious and today we'll be going over the release of Skyblock 0.22, the Backwater Bayou update, and going over the patch notes, which include a lot of information about both the update and what's coming next. Before we begin, I just want to say a couple things. First, please make sure to like and subscribe down below and use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order, as it really does mean a ton. And secondly, we do have videos already pre-made for this update, both related to the fairy souls within the Backwater Bayou and a guide for the update itself, so if you want to check out those videos, feel free to do so. They'll be linked down below. Without any further ado though, let's get started with this. Starting off here, the admins begin by saying, hello, as of today, Hypixel Skyblock now has its first dedicated fishing island. The Backwater Bayou brings with it rod parts, fishing hotspots, and a wide array of new sea creatures, adding more depth to the fishing skill. Read on to find out more. So we have a little bit of an intro here. The Backwater Bayou can be accessed from the Fisherman's Hut upon reaching fishing level 5. After helping Fisherman Gerald acquire the last necessary part to get his ship up and running, you can speak to Captain Baja to set sail for the Bayou. The Bayou is the first of what will hopefully be many fishing-themed islands that are accessible via this new ship system. While the Bayou is static, always available, and always accessible, future islands may be more fleeting. Once you arrive at the Bayou, there are several key activities for you to partake in, notably junk fishing, applying rod parts, learning about the fishing hotspot system, and fishing for Bayou sea creatures and hotspot sea creatures as well. This is a pretty interesting statement here, notably about the Bayou being the first of many fishing-themed islands. It means that the admins are planning on adding a lot more to the system in the future, a lot more locations for us to go to, which I think is really, really nice, and also that some of these islands may not necessarily be around all the time, maybe during certain Skyblock seasons, during certain mayorships, things like that. Very excited to see what comes next, and honestly I wouldn't even be upset if this system expanded to include non-fishing islands as well. Just adding smaller piecemeal pieces of content like this is definitely going to go a long way in the future, and it really does help out in terms of a content drought. So good job to the admins for getting this release out. In terms of junk fishing, Junker Joel has lived in the Bayou for some time and dislikes the state that it's ended up in, thanks to people dumping their trash in the waters of the area. Talking to Joel will give you the Junk Sinker, which you can attach to your rod to replace all treasure catches with junk. One man's trash is another man's treasure though. You can bring junk to him and you can trade it in for some goodies. We went over all of this in the guide as well as all of this other information up ahead, so check out that if you're interested. Be careful as you fish, however, though. Exclusive Bayou sea creatures lurk in the waters, and they're not fond of trespassers. I like the new Bayou sea creature system. There are 14 total new sea creatures. I think 10 of them are in the Bayou, and I think all of them are very interesting at the very least. So it's cool to see the sea creature system expanded a little bit with this update. We also have rod parts, and there's a lot to go over here. I've went over all of this once again in the guide video, but as part of this update they've done a pass over fishing rod progression and phased out several existing rods, such as the sponge rod and the chum rod, and now, while those rods are unusable, they can be scrapped at Roddy in exchange for a challenging rod and their relevant rod part, with this being the sponge sinker and the chum sinker respectively. When applied to a rod, the sponge sinker materializes a sponge in the player's inventory when they fish something, and the chum rod does the exact same thing but with chum. So as is the case with drill parts, there are 3 varieties of rod parts, and you can have one of each applied to a rod at any one time. So you can have a hook, a line, and a sinker, and these do different things. The hooks increase your chance to catch certain things, the lines grant fishing related stats, and the sinkers augment your gameplay in various ways, and they go over some examples right here. Players can add and remove parts as they please by speaking to Roddy in the Bayou or by calling him on their Abaphone. By the way, the Abaphone contact is super cheap. Make sure you get it. I believe it's just 1 torn cloth. More rod parts will be added in future updates. Very, very cool. We're going to go through these next sections a little bit quicker. Players can learn about fishing hotspots by speaking to Hattie in the Backwater Bayou, and basically how they work is that on public islands, you can cast the fishing rod that you have into the hotspot location. Currently they're only on the Backwater Bayou, the Spider's Den, and the Crimson Isle. I think they're actually in the hub. I don't know why Spider's Den is written here. Maybe they've been added to the Spider's Den as well. But basically you can toss your rod in and you can get the hotspot buff. So as you can see on screen now, there's double hook chance. If you throw your rod in, guess what you get? It's not going to be fishing speed, it's going to be double hook chance. Also, each type of hotspot also comes with its own exclusive sea creatures. As you can see here, we have a few dumpster divers. Those are brand new, and that's alongside the 14 new sea creatures being added to the game. 6 of them are exclusive to the bayou, while the remaining 8 are split evenly between water and lava fishing hotspots. So the 10 number that I got before was the 6 that are exclusive, and the 4 from the hotspots themselves. There are also 4 lava fishing hotspot creatures, one of them being Ragnarok, which is this guy. Definitely a very tough sea creature. It was buffed on the alpha, so I imagine it's a lot stronger now, but I imagine this to be on par with something like Jawbus. Next up, we have quite a few balancing changes. Treasure balancing is pretty interesting here. They've now added treasure chance as an official stat, and sources of it have been adjusted accordingly. Treasure loot tables have been rewritten. They aim for them to be better than before, but for treasure to be more difficult to reliably catch without a dedicated setup. They reduced the seal talisman's treasure chance from 1 to 0.1%, they've reduced the seal rings from 1 to 0.2, they've reduced the frozen amulets from 5 to 0.5, and they've reduced the golden bait from 5 to 4%. They've also added a tiered bonus to Diver's Armor that grants 0.5, 1, and then 1.5 treasure chance while underwater. They've reduced the amount of treasure chance Luck of the Sea grants per level, they've removed the explanation of treasure chance from the fishing level up message, and they've adjusted Trophy Hunter Armor's Odger's Blessing ability into a tiered bonus, which I think is pretty interesting and a long time coming. In terms of sea creature balancing, they've decreased the HP of the Seawalker from 1000 to 100, they've also reduced its damage from 60 to 10, they've moved the Seawalker unlock from fishing 2 to 1, and they've increased the Seawalker XP from 68 to 150. They've decreased the HP of squids from 750 to 50, and they've increased its XP from 41 to 75. They've also increased the XP of the Sea Guardian, Sea Witch, and they've also increased the Raindrake's rarity from Legendary to Mythic. Loot Share also now works on Sea Emperor skulls, which I know people will like. Also, some of these fishing XP values were very weird before. 338, 101, 41, and 68. Just kind of feels like they were throwing numbers around. It's nice to see them get standardized. Next up, we have collection balancing, and there is a lot here. They've moved Ice Bait to Ice Collection 2, they've added the Salmon Hat to Raw Salmon 1, they've moved Minnow Bait to Raw Fish 1, they've moved Salmon Armor to Raw Salmon 6, they've added the Umbrella to Umber Collection 9, they've added the Common Hook to Lily Pad Collection 5, and they've removed Angler Armor from Raw Fish 1. It's now purchased at the Fishing Merchant, as is Angler Equipment. They've also reduced the rarity of the Challenging Rod to Uncommon, and removed it from Lilypad Collection 5. In terms of rod balancing, they've basically done a few things here. They've made a bunch of buffs to things like the Soul Whip and the new Flaming Flay. They've also added the Spongy Sinker and Prismarine Sinker at 2 collections, notably Sponge Collection 2 and Prismarine Shard Collection 4, and anywhere where you previously got a fishing rod as a drop, now you get a hook, line, and a sinker that basically represents what that item was. So for the Phantom Rod, now you get the Phantom Hook. For the Shredder, you get the Shredded Line, so on and so forth. This is pretty reasonable, nothing too crazy here. Also keep in mind you can claim any rods that have been removed from the museum at your island's Jerry, so feel free to pick them up there. Lastly, we have miscellaneous changes. They've removed the underground fishing speed reduction, Aquamarine gemstones now give fishing speed instead of sea creature chance, they've adjusted the stats and gemstone slots granted by all fishing rods and fishing-related armors. Some have lost stats and slots, and others have gained them. They've added the ability to break ice near bobber cast to all rods by default. They've added the Loudmouth Bass to the Seal Treat bag. They've adjusted the Bobbin Time recipe to include the new water orbs. They've added a 1 million coin NPC sell price to Golden Bounty, a beginner's guide to pest hunting, as well. They've also added the Guardian Pet to the Experimentation Table loot pool, and the Squid Pet has replaced it in the treasure tables. They've reworked Stereo Pants to now allow you to fish up music discs while worn. They've removed the Clay Crystal from the Hub and the Wilderness. Clay now drops from the Bayou Sea Creatures. They've removed Frostwalker entirely. They've added Ascending Rarity and Descending Rarity sorts to the Sea Creature Guide. They've removed the ability to move at supersonic speed while in water from Diver Armor. And they've updated Bobbin Time recipe to include the Bayou Water Orb as well. For the last thing on our list, we have the future plans, and first we have to talk about foraging. We know players have been waiting a long time for this update, and we appreciate your patience. Right now, we're focused on quality assurance to ensure a smooth experience. If all goes well, We hope to enter the alpha phase within the next few months. At this point, I'm so beyond, any hype for the foraging update. I honestly don't know if they're even going to drop it this year. And I know, looking at this, oh, they're saying they're going to be in the next few months. But, how many times have we seen, foraging update dropping XYZ date or XYZ timetable and nothing has happened, I'm going to see it. I'll believe it when I see it, I guess, is the way I view the foraging update at this point. I hope that we keep getting content at this pace, though, because the current pace is actually pretty good. We've gotten 2 major updates in the last 3 or 4 months, which is good. Foraging is going to drop eventually, I suppose, but for now, I'm more interested in the Slayer content they talk right afterwards about. They state, "We're still hard at work on our previously promised Slayer content. It shouldn't be long now." That's pretty cool. New Slayer stuff is always very interesting. Frankly, I'm more excited for that than I am for foraging. We're going to have to see, how the next few months turn out, but I think at this point you can kind of put the second island of Galatea or whatever off the 2025 timetable. And frankly, I don't even know when they're going to drop foraging. Because next few months, to me, says 3, maybe 4 months, right? That's when you're in alpha. It's probably going to be another month or 2 after alpha for the update to release. That's looking at maybe a September, October 2025 release at the earliest. If things don't go well, which they haven't so far, maybe it's 2026. We'll have to wait and see. Overall, my initial impressions of the Backwater Bayou update are that it's pretty damn good. The update is very solid, lots of great additions, it's a new island to explore, the builds are cool, everything about it is super interesting. I just hope you guys hop in game and check it out because I think they did a great job on it. Very excited for the new Slayer content, hopefully that's next month's thing. I really am excited for that. Slayers are the part of the game that I'm the most interested in, so hearing about an expansion related to that is very cool. In terms of foraging, we're just going to have to wait and see. I'll keep updating you guys whenever things drop, but for now, don't hold your breath. At the end of the day, though, my name's Derailious. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.